What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Perspective, where we take a look at the weekend's games, give a bit of review on it as well. We have the scores between me and Sim from Predict the Prem, which is 196 to 171. It's 5 points for a correct scoreline, 3 points for a correct result and both teams to score, 1 point for a correct result, and then the star man as well, which is 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist. And let's get straight into it. And let's start off with Brentford against Watford on the Friday night, which finished 2-1 to Brentford, which toed and froed in terms of the points. At one point, I had the 3 points, and then Simeon stole the 5 points right at the end with a penalty at the death. How did you make out of this game?
Yeah, we didn't. We weren't watching it because we were having dinner at the time. But great win for Brentford, who seem to have picked up their form after a series of losses in a row. Watford, just at the moment, despite getting so close, they can't seem to get any points on the board. Apart from that, a few wins, they beat Man United and they beat Everton 5-2 and 4-1. But other than that, they keep getting on the wrong end of results. And to give up the point in the 95th minute must really, really hurt for Watford. But for Brentford, winning without Ivan Toney up top, getting the 3 points shows that they don't need him to get points, and a very, very good win for them. So good for them. They're in good form at the moment.
That man Dennis as well does not stop scoring.
Yeah, another goal for him.
Another goal for him. Yeah, he's on crazy, crazy form.
Do you reckon they're going down though at this rate, Watford?
Yeah, I think so.
Even though they're playing quite well, but
they are playing well, but I can't see there being 3 teams worse than them, to be honest.
It's going to be difficult.
I really can't see 3 teams being worse than them.
Depends I guess maybe what they do in January, but at the moment they're too volatile in terms of results, aren't they? They just can't. They're not stable. Everything seems like one extreme to the next.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. The scores are 201 to 171 as we move over to the Saturday games. The early kickoff was Man City against Wolves at the Etihad. 5 points coming my way this week, as I predicted 1-0. Sim predicts 3-0, so he gets 3 points, 204 to 176. But Man City, definitely worth their win here, but it came under controversial circumstances, didn't it?
Definitely. First of all, the Jimenez red card, one of the most ridiculous red cards you're ever likely to see in a Premier League game. Makes the foul on Rodri to pick up his first yellow. Then within 30 seconds, he blocks the resulting free kick, which he just gave away. Literally sticks his leg out to block the free kick while standing on the ball, which is always a definite automatic yellow card. So ridiculous decision, and a kind of heads gone moment for Raul Jimenez for that red card. When it comes to the game, Wolves defended well for the majority of the time. Jose Sarr, I thought, had an absolute worldie of a game, and he kept the score down for sure. But that penalty, absolutely diabolical decision from the referee, and for most more so VAR, because clearly it hits the underside of his arm over here, very, very clearly. And for VAR to look at it, slow it down about 100 times, look at it for about 5 minutes, just staring at the incident and not advise the referee to change his mind, I thought was an absolute joke. I thought Wolves are absolutely robbed, and it's very clearly not a handball. Doesn't touch his arm. So I don't understand why VAR doesn't suggest that to the referee he got it wrong, because it doesn't touch his arm. This point here isn't a handball. Only from here, so I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it feels like they've forgotten what the rule is, forgotten that they did change the rule in the summer. And it was a disgrace of a decision, it really was. And that was only the first of them this weekend, because there were quite a few questionable penalty decisions, which we'll get into in a little bit. But Man City do win the game 1-0, carry on their winning run, and Wolves carry on their poor form and really not doing great in front of goal Wolves at the moment. But let's move on. Let's go to the Emirates, which it finished 3-0 to Arsenal against Southampton. I predicted 2-0. Sim predicted 2-1. So Sim gets 1 point. I get 3 points. And the way I assessed it, I only watched like the first 15 minutes, and Southampton were really on top of them. But as soon as Arsenal got that goal, plain sailing for them, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, Southampton really struggled to stay in the game once after a fast start. Tried to get a goal early. They didn't manage, despite creating a few chances, they didn't manage to get the goal in the back of the net. And once Arsenal were able to play through their press, it was easy pickings for them, because Southampton is such an open team. It's really easy to create chances. And I must say, Willy Caballero, the 40-year-old keeper making his debut for Southampton, had a bit of a stinker. It was really, really easy for it was really, really easy for Arsenal to just put him under a lot of pressure. Every corner went right under the crossbar and he was flapping at everything. And it was no surprise that they got the third goal from the corner. And it was a pretty easy win in the end of the day for Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. So at the end of that game, it leaves it at 205 to 179. Let's move over to Chelsea against Leeds at Stamford Bridge, which was a really good game of football. Chelsea just about getting over the line in the last second of the game. Leeds thought they'd done really well to get a point with Gelhardt scoring in the latter stages of the game, but Chelsea resolutely did come through. But I thought Leeds were good for a point in this game. I really did. Chelsea riding their luck, in my opinion. Two questionable decisions for the penalties. Jorginho smashing them both away really well. But I thought Chelsea got really lucky in this game.
Yeah, two definitely subjective, I thought, decisions on the penalty. And I thought that for VAR to get involved in the first penalty, I thought was a bit much. I thought it probably was a penalty, but it was. I don't know if it was clear and obvious. So I don't know if VAR I've seen.
Was the first one the Rafinha one?
Yeah. I thought I've seen penalties which are more clear not being given, and not being overturned. So for that one to be overturned from VAR, I thought was questionable. Despite the fact I did think he was rash, and I did think it was a penalty. I thought Leeds put a great account of themselves. I thought they really deserved a point. Chelsea got lucky, and for it to be 2-2 going into the stoppage time, and that penalty from Click to be given away. Another soft one. Again, probably just about a penalty by letter of the law, but a really soft penalty to give away, like a little tap on the back of the ankle, and he's given a foul. Looks like Rudiger for me has bought 2 penalties, but Leeds will be heartbroken they didn't get anything from this game. But Chelsea, lucky again this time to get all 3 points, and their performances of late just haven't been, Tuchel's been complaining about them, and this is another more evidence of Chelsea being a bit off colour at the moment.
Definitely, and yeah, like I said, Leeds will feel very hard done by that result. They definitely performed and deserved more than they got out of that game, that's for sure. But as it stands now, we get a point each for that one, 206 to 180. Let's move on to Liverpool against Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard's homecoming. It was 1-0 to Liverpool on the day, but definitely should have been more than that. I mean, Liverpool just pummeled Aston Villa for pretty much the majority of the game. Sim went 3-0, which probably should have got 5 points, to be honest, on the balance of play. I went 3-1. I mean, Villa hardly came close to scoring, to be honest. I thought Liverpool were really good, just couldn't really get the ball over the line, to be honest.
So many openings. They had ridiculous amount. Salah, Jota and Mane will be kicking themselves. They weren't more goals in the game for them, because they really pummeled Villa into the ground, and it was just a lack of killer instinct really in the final third that cost them. And to be honest, there were a couple of moments where it really could have cost them, because Villa, despite the fact they were penned back for the majority of the game, there were a couple of moments they could have got something, and I think Alisson might be very, very lucky he didn't give away a penalty late in the game against Danny Ings when he was flying out, and Ings gets it past him, and he kind of, I thought, with his hand, takes a bit of a swipe at him, and I thought he made contact, so I thought he got a bit lucky not to give away a penalty. But other than that, Liverpool 100% deserved the win, and another great performance from them, and it should have been by more.
Yeah, it definitely should have been.
But penalty, yeah, was it a penalty? Probably a bit dodgy though. Again, another one
Liverpool
soft
penalty.
Soft one on Salah, I thought Mings got wrong side of him, but Salah does go down very, very easy.
I thought it was a penalty. It was a penalty, but it's harsh on Aston Villa. But letter of the law, you got to give it at the end of the day, I think. So
I thought it was soft.
Yeah, but okay. Well, as it stands, 3 points to Simeon for that one, 1 point for me on that one, 209, 181. Moving over to the 5:30 kickoff at Carrow Road against Manchester United, Norwich against Manchester United, that is, and that is 1-0 to Man United. I predicted 1-0, Sim predicted 3-1. So 5 points coming my way, 1 point going your way. I didn't see much of the game, to be honest, but what I did see is the penalty decision, and I thought it was the right call, but again, I thought it was a bit soft.
Yeah, another one where Aarons has our hands on him, but could have easily just as not been given as it was given, and I thought Man United got very lucky to get it, to be honest.
Yeah, at the end of the day, his arms are all the way around him, so...
Yeah, he shouldn't be grabbing him like that, 100%. It gave the referee decision to make, But from the flip side, if the referee doesn't give it, VAR doesn't get involved, I don't think there's a clear penalty. So
Correct.
United got very lucky. And United not just lucky in that moment, they got lucky throughout the game. Norwich were completely the better side, and they should have got something out of this game 100%. It wasn't United creating any of the chances, it was all Norwich creating all the running. And Man United got very lucky to come away with a 1-0 victory in this game, and they have man of the match David De Gea to thank for it.
Yeah.
Another great performance from him, keeping him in the game. But if Man United play like that against Brentford in midweek, they might well get turned over.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the Predict the Prem. Like, I don't think Man United were going to have it all their way this week. Norwich, even when they lost 3-0 to us, they put in a good display. So Dean Smith has them playing well, and I just thought, I thought it was going to work out exactly the way it did, to be honest. And Ronaldo saving their blushes with about 15 minutes to go or something like that. But let's move on to the Sunday games. Brighton v Spurs was obviously called off. Let's move on to the Burnley against West Ham game, which finished 0-0. Sim going 1-1, so getting a point there. I went 2-1 to West Ham, so 0 points for me. But I didn't see much of it, but I guess there's not too much to talk about in a 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham were probably the better team throughout the game, but they looked close to scoring, but actually Burnley later on in the game finished stronger, and they could have easily got a goal in the last 10 minutes or so. But West Ham did struggle really to create much. I mean, Nick Pope had a very good first half, but in the second half, they really struggled to test him, and it was a display where they'll be disappointed that they haven't really made more opportunities. In a draw, they can't be can't have too many complaints about the draw really at the end of the day. And again, like West Ham at the moment, I think the past 8 games they've won 2, and it's been like
Chelsea and Liverpool.
Ridiculous. And the other games, the games where you expect them to get points, and they've been dropping points. So again, good thing for Spurs. Leaves the gap even more open. We're now 3 points behind with 2 games in hand. So positive.
And the thing is with West Ham, I feel like when Antonio's not on form, I know they beat Liverpool and Chelsea, but like when you're playing those kind of teams, you get adrenaline throughout the whole team that kind of carries you through. But against like the so-called smaller sides, or let's say the sides outside the top 4 or top 6, they seem to really struggle when Antonio's off form to get goals against these kind of teams, and it proved again this week against Burnley.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Leicester against Newcastle, which finished 4-0 to Leicester. Both of us predicting 2-1 to Newcastle on the day.
Very wrong.
Very, very wrong, as Leicester completely tore Newcastle a new one in this one.
Absolutely.
Tielemans scoring 2 goals, 1 from the penalty spot, and that penalty, Maddison completely buys it, doesn't he?
Yeah, again, another dodgy one. I thought Maddison definitely goes into Lascelles. Lascelles is pulling his leg away, and Maddison goes into him and makes contact with Lascelles. So it's another one where I thought very, very dodgy, very, very soft, lucky to get it. I don't know whether VAR should have got involved, but I don't think the referee should have given it in the first place. But 1-2 and 1-0 Leicester, it's almost like the floodgates opened and Newcastle really struggled to get back in the game. Before that, it was very, very even. Newcastle were having a few opportunities. Leicester were also knocking on the door. It could have gone either way, but once Leicester took the lead, it was only one winner, and they kind of ran riot. And it goes to show, even though Newcastle won their first game last week, they still got one of the worst squads in the league. So it's a long way for them. January can't come soon enough.
Yeah, and Leicester proved, albeit against the Newcastle side, but no Vardy, no problem. No Vardy scoring 4 goals still. So credit to Leicester.
I mean, it's Newcastle.
I know it is Newcastle, but still, Vardy has been on sensational form this season, scoring a lot of goals. And
Daka coming in and scoring.
Yeah, so Leicester, are they a worry for you for the top 4 race?
I don't think so. I think Evans picked up an injury, which looks like it's going to rule him out for a bit as well now. So whether they can cope without him, without Fofana, they've got more injuries as well. I don't know. They're too inconsistent for me. And I think that it's going to hurt them throughout the season. So, look, you can say we're inconsistent as well, but I just feel like, they won 4-0, but they still haven't convinced me yet. Whenever they come up against a half-decent side, they struggle. So I think they're going to fall away, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last game of the weekend, which was last night's game at Selhurst Park, which was Crystal Palace 3, Everton 1, both of us going 1-1. But Crystal Palace playing really well here, but it's all about Conor Gallagher in this game. I mean, I thought he ran the game from the middle of the park, scored 2 goals, and the one that capped it off right at the end was a really special goal for Conor Gallagher, and a really good display, and him proving himself to the rest of the Premier League and everyone watching him, because he is a talent, man. He really is a talent, and I hope Chelsea don't kind of want him too badly, because I would like to see him move on from Chelsea, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of the first team next season at Chelsea. You know, with Loftus-Cheek there, he can easily replace him. So he's a quality player. Unbelievable finish for his second goal right at the end. And Palace back to winning ways after a bit of shoddy form. It looked like it was hard for them to get a win. But Everton returning back to form. That's now what 8 losses in the past 9 games. The only win coming against Arsenal. So they were poor again, Everton. They'll be very, very disappointed, and pressure back on Benitez. Yeah,
I really expected more from Everton in this game. I mean, Richarlison, after his great display against Arsenal, he was terrible. I mean, didn't impact the game whatsoever. I mean, the only danger man for Everton seems to be like Anthony Gordon on that right-hand side, and maybe a bit of Damari Gray. I mean, everyone else seems so lackluster in that team. But Palace, on the other hand, like you say, after a run of really bad results, get back to winning ways, and I thought they performed really well last night, and definitely deserved all 3 points at Selhurst Park. But that is the end of the predictions. Let's move over to the star man, and it's Mo Salah and Cristiano Ronaldo. So both of us get 2 points there, both winning 1-0, both scoring penalties. So 2 points each for that one. So 213 to 188 as it stands. We completely drew this week, 17 points apiece. So look, you're going to have another episode of the Prem today, as there's more Premier League action starting tomorrow. But that is your perspective today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts about any of the games that happened last weekend. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.